people here in Portland. And we do have a story that we've been talking about since this morning. A 10-month-old girl is recovering after being exposed to fentanyl. The baby's grandmother is accused of exposing her to the drug. So this all happened on Friday. Tigard police say that 53-year-old Julia Apostello was passed out behind the wheel of a running car in the parking lot of the Tigard Plaza Shopping Center. The wheel of a running car in the parking lot of the Tigard Plaza Shopping Center. So police do say that drug paraphernalia was out in the open and that the baby was in the back seat. The baby's mother, she was at a store nearby with her 4-year-old child. She told police that she had been gone for about half an hour. The baby was taken to the hospital. She did test positive for fentanyl and stayed for treatment. And of course, it comes as the state of Oregon has seen a growing trend with minors being exposed to fentanyl. So today, K2, we are expanding on this story. We're on your side seeing what somebody can be charged with if they do expose someone to fentanyl. Shelby Slaughter is on that story. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but I mentioned at the top of the show, today's Fentanyl Awareness Day. Multnomah County leaders right now, they're holding a press conference to speak about this. The members in the media were able to ask them some questions and just seeing, what they are doing to combat the fentanyl problem. We know the 90-day emergency just ended, so we're going to be having team coverage on just the fentanyl crisis. That's going to be tonight at 4, 5, and 6. Be sure to stay tuned on that. We have multiple angles. And then another story that I did want to talk about. This morning, the Boy Scouts of America, they made a pretty major announcement. They announced that they're going to be changing their name. And of course, this comes as the Boy Scouts have had some controversies. They filed for bankruptcy after multiple sexual abuse claims. So this is kind of the organization trying to rebrand and move away from their old name and just the old organization. It's a pretty big deal because it is the first time in its 114-year history. The organization also is trying to be more inclusive. Back in 2017, they started allowing girls into the organization. And today, K2, we're going to expand on this story as well. Savannah Welch, she just spoke with an Eagle Scout. She's a member, and also she's the 2024 Eagle Scout Scholarship winner. So it'll be great to speak with her about that. We're going to have more on that tonight at 4, so just stay tuned for that. But honestly, the biggest story that I think everyone's talking about right now is the weather, because we're going to have some pretty significant changes in the weather. Let's have meteorologist Sarah Bagby over here. Sarah, here we go. There it is. Temperature's heating up. You can see it right there on the screen.
Oh, yes.
How much are they going to heat up?
Well, let's take a look at the 7-day, actually. I mean, look at this. So we looked at this yesterday. We've been looking at it. We've been seeing this huge range of temperatures. So finally, we are out of the 50s this week. We are at 61 today for our high, but look what happens. We're looking at 90 degrees by Friday. So what's happening right now is we're flip-flopping. We have the system offshore, and it's this, it's called high pressure. You hear about it all the time, but basically this particular pattern has a way of blocking out any of the rain that's coming off from offshore. So it's really great for us because if you want some sunshine, we're going to be sticking around in sunshine for over a week. And if you want, we can even bring up some. What's very interesting is the different weather in different spots. So up in the Cascades, we have a winter advisory.
Yeah,
We're getting all kinds of snow. We got 10 inches on Timberline yesterday.
I thought that was crazy, Sarah, that we had a winter weather advisory in May in the Cascades, and then less than a week later, it's going to be 90 degrees here in Portland. Yeah, let's take a live look over up at government camp. So yeah, temperatures heating up later in the week, but still snow on the ground up there.
In fact, just an hour ago, I wish we could have showed you. It looked like a blizzard. It was just very low visibility, pure snow. Great for going up to the passes during this week. But then by the weekend, it could be slushy because we'll be in those higher temperatures. So it'll be interesting to see what happens up on the resort mountain passes.
Yeah, I'm interested just because they got so much extra snow. You know, we thought the ski season would be extended a little bit further, but now it's going to be 90 degrees here in Portland.
Yeah, so I think that's why the ski season always extends a little bit into May when this happens. So it is good this happened, or else we wouldn't even have this. And some people are up there skiing right now.
I know. It looks beautiful. Yeah. I wish I was up there right now, but gotta go before it all melts.
Yeah, the perfect sweet spot when you can be in your tank top. There's still snow, hasn't melted. That would probably be Friday.
And again, so Friday is
earlier part of the day. Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
we gotta
go
get
for
through
it.
that. Well, thank you for that, Sarah. But while we're seeing hotter temperatures, a really big change in our weather pattern, the entire nation, well, not the entire nation, the Plains area really, they've been dealing with some significant severe weather. So I want to show you, Sarah. This is from Oklahoma, and we do have a much better look at the damage just because of it's daylight now. You know, earlier I was showing you this video at the live
incredible.
desk, and it was nighttime, and I mean, the images coming out of Oklahoma are just
This is
incredible. It's
insane.
catastrophic
They had
damage.
17 tornadoes last night, Monday night. 17 went through, and most of you may already know, but one person died, which is not common, about 40 miles outside of Tulsa. So this was definitely very extreme. And just so you all know, extreme weather is something that means tornadoes. Severe weather means hail, thunderstorms, high winds, still damaging. What we have here is a mix. You
they got both,
tornado
yeah.
damage clearly, but then that doesn't mean that the severe weather isn't damaging as well, because that's kind of what they're looking into for the next 2 days. So the next question is, what's going to happen? Are they going to get a break out there, right?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
what's happening is we are going to get a break from the tornadoes. We've been waiting. There's this one spot right around Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Columbus, and Louisville that's maybe has a slight chance of more tornadoes tonight. But for the most part, most likely, and what the models are showing, are those severe thunderstorms. So again, more damage could happen, but that would be mainly from the hail and the winds.
Yeah, and we're taking a look at some of the weather patterns that we're going to see across the nation, or likely to see. So
Yeah, so what you just saw was what happened already. What this is the next couple of days. And you'll notice that pattern of that flow, how it's an upside down U over there in the East Coast. Well, what that means is actually high pressure for Chicago, New York. They're going to get some warm summer-like temperatures, not have those storms over the end of the week. But everywhere in between, right there in the center, and in the areas that I was talking about, and the plains, they're still going to be getting those storms. So we're going to still keep an eye on that.
100%. And like, if you have a trip or anything planned out there, I would probably just reassess, because you don't know with this kind of crazy weather. But thankfully,
that would be me.
yeah,
I
that's
leave,
true.
I'm going over
Chicago,
there, but I
yeah.
think I'm getting there right after all of us, so I'm kind of lucky. But I mean, to turn back to the weather, over there is extreme. Over here, we're extreme heat, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. You know, we're in the summer, we have 4 or 5 days of extreme heat where people are at risk. But we do have a little bit of a risk of people going out into the rivers.
And this is something I wanted to ask you about, Sarah,
Yeah.
because Rhonda kind of brought it up earlier, but the risk of hypothermia now with the
Yeah, who knew,
with the
right?
rivers, yeah, and just explain this to
Okay.
us, because it's just I had no idea about
Yeah,
this.
I kind of learned about this over the last few years, and there were some things that I learned have been an issue in the last couple of years, especially in the Clackamas River. So what's happening is it's not warm enough to really go safely into these cold rivers. You've got these cold water. The water's still cold. It hasn't been heated up yet. So people are just jumping in, thinking nothing of it, cooling down, feels really good for a moment, and then hyperthermia, it can set in then. Another thing is you have all that snow melt we're going to get, right? And so as this is melting, that's going straight into your river, so it's getting very, very cold. And so that extreme from being hot and then getting in the cold is a risk. In fact, we actually have a graphic. Rhonda made this today. I love this.
Yeah, and I think it's great because it kind of just gives you everything you need to know right here. She just lists it out for us, life jackets. I mean, we shouldn't even have to say this, but so many people don't wear them. Please wear a life jacket. It is so important if you're going in the water. Of course, walk children closely, and then alcohol. Yeah, that is so true. If you're drinking out there, I would probably stay away from it just because the water is so cold, like you said.
It increases the hypothermia. And that was something that was new to me. I did not know that it increases. I knew that people make bad decisions. People are, when they're drinking, might not realize things.
And I think that's like you wouldn't feel the cold as much.
Know.
I do think that is like the reasoning. You're not feeling the cold.
Okay. And then no more, so another thing is that right now, what I had mentioned is the water is very, very cold right now. And it's not getting warmer just because the sun's out this week. So just remember, we've got that alpine snow water going into the rivers, and they're high, and they're cold. And then one other thing Rhonda mentioned that happens every year is that because of that mix, it's swift currents. People think, it's just a river. No, the currents right now are a lot stronger than in the summer when we're used to being out there.
Yeah, so just we have all that information online. I believe we have that graphic online too. Just a great way to have some great tips. If you're headed out there in the water. But listen, everybody, enjoy the warm weather, but stay safe out there for sure. All right, the next story we're going to talk about right now, Sarah, this is a talker. We're talking about TikTok.
Oh, goody.
And the possible ban of TikTok. Yeah, everybody on digital is probably interested in this. Because,
I would assume you
TikTok.
guys might be into the social media and TikTok. Are you a TikToker?
I don't use it too much, but
You're not performing on there?
Not as no. I'm not doing any TikTok dances.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of people, friends of mine even, who are very upset about not having TikTok, but then also understand like what's going on where there's this whole risk of China taking our information or something like.
And
isn't that
this
what
is
it's about?
so this is what I want to get to right now. TikTok and the parent company ByteDance, they're suing the U.S. government.
Oh,
We know that that bill was just passed that would ban TikTok in the U.S. unless it separates from its Chinese parent company. But the Chinese parent company, they have said multiple times, they have no intention to sell TikTok.
interesting.
Lawsuit was filed today. The ban has not gone into effect. Obviously, it hasn't been fully passed and put into law. And again, it only is a potential ban. The ban will not go through if TikTok is sold, but again, they don't want to sell.
But they're not selling, yeah.
Yeah, and like it wouldn't necessarily be even that easy. Like it just is very complicated.
Yeah,
the whole
it's
thing.
such a big can here.
Because buying TikTok would be very expensive.
Right.
And even if Meta were interested in buying it, there was some rumors circulating like antitrust laws, monopolies.
Yeah.
It's just
well, that's sort of the issue here, right? Is that it's a monopoly in a way because they shouldn't have to sell, but the reason they're selling is because they're one company that, I mean, do we know the exact reason why we're making them sell?
The United States wants TikTok to separate itself from China because of national security concerns. That is pretty much the crux of it right there.
Okay.
They want TikTok to be sold from a Chinese parent company for national security concerns. Yeah. And then the parent company TikTok doesn't want to sell, which I mean, it's their product.
Yeah,
so
that's an
we're going to see how
one.
this plays out. This lawsuit was just filed today. It's going to be going through the courts. We're going to be tracking
it's
that.
Take a
That's
long
going to be
time for any results with that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
A lot of people are watching this. I think this is the most interested young people have been in politics
Probably.
in a while.
They don't want to lose their TikTok.
100%.
They're so scared.
So that's something we're tracking. And then again, Sarah, I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, today's Fentanyl Awareness Day.
Right.
So that's going to be a big part of our news coverage tonight because, it is just such a problem that affects us here in Portland.
And they just laid out those new goals, too, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, so that'll be on tonight at 4, 5, and 6. Stay tuned for that. And have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the warmer weather once we get it. We're not there yet, but close enough. Have a great day. Happy Tuesday.
This has been a K2 News Digicast. K2 News is on your side.